The first thing that struck him was that these numbers were not Earth sequence. Caleb Ror was a quantitative analyst at one of the most secretive hedge funds in New York. For his entire career, he had scoured the books for patterns, algorithms, volatility blips, interest rates vibrations, what have you, arbitrage opportunities. But the OFIC dataset was flipped encrypted when it arrived on this wet Tuesday evening, and in one group were equations or quotations, not just financial credentials. They were cadences. Harmony had virtually become music of the mind. Not only did they have their own rhythm, every blip also seemed to resonate with something more ancient than Wall Street itself. He should have filed a report, but in the interests of exploring, Caleb linked the streams to his predictive model. Instead of noise, algorithms lit up, correlating with cosmic background radiation and gravitational waves. The markets were somehow connected to forces beyond human timekeeping. At 2:13 a.m., his displays froze. A single line appeared in some foreign script, not Roman, Greek, nor Chinese. It sparked a memory in his subconscious, pulse quickening. Seconds later, the screens blanked. He almost convinced himself that it had been an illusion until he checked the portfolio simulation. Look at overnight trading. It would have done 3,842%. Not money-making tricks, not even business tips, can pull that off. Unless it wasn't predicting the markets at all. Unless it were coming from somewhere else. By dawn, Caleb was walking back and forth outside on top of his apartment building. He kept returning to the same question. Who had sent him the data? The answer came in the form of an invitation slid under his door, an embossed card. Gold edging. 2 words on it only. The ledger. Had Caleb known the truth 2 weeks earlier, he might not have claimed his reward from the ledger at all. Thus came the basic question of life as, why the record will always be a personal diary in free verse. The location was an address he'd never seen, under an abandoned bank in Lower Manhattan, a building gutted decades ago in a fire that supposedly consumed its records. At midnight, he descended marble steps cracked with mold, past broken safety deposit boxes. Inside the vault, candlelight flickered. A dozen men and women in suits sat at a mahogany table, silent, their faces hidden in half-shadows. The one who spoke introduced herself as Mara Lennox. Her voice was calm, authoritative, yet disturbingly mechanical in cadence. The ledger, she explained, is not a society. It is a responsibility. What you discovered is not random. It is the balance, a pattern older than civilization itself. Markets are not human creations. They are reflections of cosmic order. Every debt, every loan, every derivative is an echo of energy exchanges happening across realities. Caleb almost laughed, but the room's intensity smothered the impulse. Mira continued, your simulation found an intersection. This century, for the first time in more than a century, the balance has become unstable. You have been chosen to correct it. The others remained silent, eyes fixed on him. Haskin asked the only question his trembling voice could manage. What happens if I don't? Mara's smile was thin, clinical. Then time itself defaults. He didn't sleep for 3 days. He tried to return to normal life, spreadsheets, client calls, risk reports, but his trading screens began showing impossible phenomena. Stock tickers that had not existed yet scrolled past. Commodity prices reflected events that had not occurred. He saw headlines from newspapers dated years into the future. One night, the Dow Jones Index appeared with numbers stretching into negative infinity, as though reality itself was unraveling. Caleb snapped on the 4th day. He executed one of the trades suggested by the algorithm, a bet against a company that had not yet even emerged. Within hours, a hitherto unknown biotech company appeared in the news, related to a scandal on which no reporter had put a pen before. Its stock fell exactly as expected. His account balance swelled by millions. But with the profits came nightmares. He dreamed that trading floors were empty. The voices had been replaced by chanting in a foreign company's name. Waking, he found a bleeding nose and tinnitus, as if high-frequency sound waves struck him all day long. His reflection in the mirror lagged half a second behind his movements. He consulted Mara. She met him at a Central Park penthouse where windows were shielded in lead. The truth, the ledger's data was not human in origin, but it flowed from what physicists termed quantum foam, the material of space-time. Each of the trades Caleb made not only changed markets, it altered the alignment of entire probability fields. It was not shares that he traded. It was a result instead. The more money he made, the further reality warped. Caleb demanded to get out, but Mara shook her head. There is no way out. The balance must be maintained if there is to maintain anything at all. If you stop and let the distortions pile up, everything will be liquidated in bankruptcy. Think of the universe as a bank. We are its auditors. With us, the account can never exceed its overdraft. He considered fleeing the country, dropping out of sight under a new identity. But then all over the world, blood suffused the markets in red. Pension funds disappeared, and currencies, whether for issuing cash or investment, snuffed themselves out on the stock exchange overnight. Planes fell from the sky as their avionics systems synchronized to corrupt atomic clocks. The chaos was not on its way. It has already arrived. Then the message arrived. It wagged on every cell phone and hissed from the gray-faced mouths of traders with their backs turned toward each other, overnumbing every screen. Default is approaching. The balance is here now. The ledger had reassembled with every intention of finishing that task, and Caleb swore he was inside a subterranean chamber not beneath Manhattan, but made entirely out of obsidian. It rang faintly like a tuning fork. The walls were decorated with star charts, not maps of countries. Every market was a star system, every currency a mode of energy. All of humanity's economics was just the tiniest ripple in a world-spanning system that Caleb could hardly understand fully. Mara gave him one final task. You have to make the terminal trade. Only you see the sequence of it. Caleb looked at the dropped infinite order book before his very eyes. Tickers written in alien script, spreads wider than universes. His fingers hovered over the keys. He hesitated because for the first time, he understood. Every profit grabbed was someone else's debt. Every arbitrage was stolen from the balance sheet. Every hedge fund, every government, every loan shark simply shadows within this eternal machinery. His choice was clear. Perform this trade, save the human being, and enslave innumerable other times and spaces or refuse, and let the collapse of his own universe start. He pressed enter. The room disappeared. The city went as well. Time staggered frozen. When he awoke, Caleb was back at his desk in New York, but something was different. His terminal was blank, no markets, no tickers, just one line of text. Balance restored, debt passed on. He checked his reflection again. He found that it smiled forth, while his own lips remained at rest. Elsewhere on other books, in different universe, Caleb knew someone has been declared bankruptcy. He understood a final truth. Finance never concerned cash, but fates. It was this process, which continued all times and could not but end, allowed by the final default to awe in life.